because what you do preparing for an interview and following up after an interview can also make or break your chances on getting hired. So you want to be prod. Hello and welcome to your Prod Summer Camp Land the Job. My name is Frances and I am your camp leader for this course. I created So You Want to Be Prod as a resource for the production department in film, TV, VFX, and animation. And this video here is part of a 7-day series called Land the Job, where I'll be covering resumes, cover letters, and interview tips and other things when it comes to job search for the production department. For today's agenda, we'll be covering what to do before and after an interview. Once in a while, you'll see me look to my right here because on my screen, I've got the course materials and I've got the course page. Everything is free to access. You can download the worksheets called the gear pack. There's a link there for the course page itself where you can follow along, and a link to our Discord channel where you can meet others who are on the same boat, or fellow campers, or other production people that you can network and connect with. Today's goal is to learn how to prepare for all the phases of your interview. Our chapters for today are: number 1, Interview Etiquette 101. Number 2, things you should know before an interview. 3, what to do when an interview goes well. And number 4, what to do when an interview goes south. Some of the things that you'll find in your gear pack: checklist before the interview, checklist after the interview, and interview questions for prod that you can use to practice. Interview Etiquette 101. So this is how to present yourself in an interview. 10 things on this list. Number 1, don't just wing it. Unpreparedness is a disrespect of their time. It really shows when someone didn't prepare for the interview. Number 2, plan your environment, your outfit, and the setup accordingly, so you're not fussing around or trying to patch things up during the interview. Number 3, for virtual calls, let them know what they can't see. If you're taking notes and that's why you're not looking at the camera, or you're looking at another screen because maybe having your resume there helps you, let them know. The last thing you want them to feel is that you're chatting with someone else while you're in an interview. That is the wrong impression. So let them know if you are looking away from the camera. Number 4, if you're running late, communicate. Let them know that you're just going to be a few minutes late, or if you need to reschedule. The sooner you let them know, the better. Treat everyone with respect, not just the interviewer. So everyone that you will come across along the way, treat them with the same respect as you would with the people who are in the room. Number 6, never, ever badmouth a previous studio or employer. It doesn't matter how bad the experience was. It doesn't matter that it's not your fault. That's not part of the interview. It speaks more about your character than your employer, and it's not a good thing. Number 7, keep answers relevant and to the point. Next chapter, day 7, interview tips. During the interview, we'll cover how long you should spend on each part of the interview, so more on that later. Be mindful of the time allotted for the interview. Production are meeting time gatekeepers, right? So show them in practice. Show them that you are aware of people's time, not to go overtime, because everyone has a place to be when that time ends. Follow up with a thank you message within 24 hours. Mention something from the meeting and don't just copy paste it. We'll caveat that sometimes when the interview is a Friday, I try to wait until Monday to send my thank you letter so that it doesn't get buried with any emails they may get over the weekend. Number 10, let them know if you're no longer available. So either you're no longer interested in their job or you got hired. Communicate that as well. Okay, chapter 2, what you should know before an interview. Before an interview starts, make sure to first ask, can you hear me okay? Because you could have the most amazing answer for all the questions they have, but if there's static, noise in the background, they couldn't hear you, no one heard your answer, and that's gonna hurt your chances on the interview. Number 2, list favorite shows that studio has done so that you can bring that up in the interview and it shows that you did your research. Number 3 on your checklist, if you have a referral or you know anyone personally in that studio, then you bring that up in your interview as well. 4 is your top 3 strengths that you want to make sure you will share in some way. So maybe you could tie that in an answer. Make sure that the strength that you share matches keyword in the job listing so that it is still relevant. And lastly, have prepared questions ahead of time. This is at the end of your interview when they ask, do you have any questions for us? So now that you have this little card with your checklist, let's go over other tips that you should also know before the interview. So number one is read the job description and know what they're looking for, because it doesn't matter how great you are on XYZ when they're looking for ABC. It doesn't make sense. Browse the studio website, their values and the reel, and then you can pick your favorites from there, and then you can bring that up in your answers during the interview. This way they can see that you are a match. You do fit in the studio. 3, know any recent news about the studio. Were they recently acquired? Did they have a recent achievement? That also shows that you did your research about that studio. Next is you can have your own resume handy, and that's also great when you blank out during the interview, because then you can look like, yes, I wanted to highlight that. Set your phone to silent, avoid distractions. This is even if you're doing this in a virtual. Next is arrive or join the meeting early. An optional one is if you know the names of your interviewers, you can research them, but don't be creepy about it. Don't stalk them. Keep it professional. It's only to feed conversations. Prod tip is to practice answering questions out loud, not just in your head, not just typing it out. Actually hear your voice say the things, because that would help you, one, retain what you wanted to say, but it's also practicing how you say it, because once you're in there, you're in the interview, the nerves are high, you can fumble, you can stutter, and you will lose your train of thought, right? So the more you practice your answers, then the more your answers will come naturally, so that when you do go off track and you do miss a beat, it's easier for you to come back and present the core of what you actually wanted to say. So practice answering interview questions out loud. If you're wondering what kind of questions they might be asking, go to the course page. Or you can download the course material in your gear pack. It has the full list of questions that you might be asked for production assistant, production coordinator, production manager, and producer. So I won't go over those questions in this video because there is a lot. Prod tip is reserve a quiet place for the interview and a stable Wi-Fi. This is for when you have an interview that is virtual. If you're sharing your home, then let everyone in the household know that you're going to have an interview so that everyone can make the necessary arrangements to help you. Next is what to do when the interview goes well. Maybe they even sent you an offer. So there are some next steps to really bring it home. So step 1, send a thank you message to the organizer. Don't spam all the contacts that are CC'd in the calendar. I say stick to the person who you have been in contact with. And the reason being is because the other people CC'd in that calendar, maybe not everyone showed up in your interview. And that happens too. When you message them, they would have no idea who you are. Stick to the organizer, but you can thank other people in the interview in that message, and maybe they can forward that. Keep it short though, 3 to 5 sentences, and also mention something that was said in the interview. Don't just copy paste a generic one that you Googled. Step 2 is document the questions asked. Your response, write down what the questions were, your response, and what would you do differently next time. It's a good practice for your next interview. Step 3 is mark it on your calendar when they said you'll be hearing updates, so that there's a reminder for you that, today I should hear back from this person. So we'll continue the steps. These steps are if you are sent an offer. So congratulations. So step 4, read the contract and all of it. See if you agree. Step 5 is if you have any questions about the contract, ask. Contracts can be amended, that there's a reason why they send it to you to read it first before signing. Step 6, if you have ownership of content online or elsewhere that may be related to the work that you do, make sure that there is a clause in that contract that protects that ownership. Step 7 is once everything is signed, sealed, and delivered, celebrate. That was a lot of hard work and it clearly paid off. So congratulations, go enjoy, have a moment. One thing that I want to say about interviews too is that sometimes Interviews are a vibe check. It's to see if your personality will be a fit with the team or the person that you would be working most. It isn't necessarily a knock on your skills, because remember, they invited you for an interview, and the fact that they invited you and they asked you for an interview means that on paper you were qualified for the job. So even if an interview doesn't go well, doesn't go forward, it doesn't diminish your worth. So like I said, every rejection is a redirection. Okay, last chapter now for today is what to do when interview goes south. More times than not, it didn't go as bad as you thought it did. But here are some steps that you can take if you do feel that it didn't go quite as well. First step is to take a breath. Even the best of us fumble too. And a lot of times it's much worse in our head than it actually was. And if it's not, that's okay too. It happens. It became an opportunity to learn from, which takes us to the next step, which is learn from it. Write down the questions that made it hard, or where you got stuck, or you blanked out, and then write what you said and what would you say next time. And why, so that you have this go-to list now next time you're practicing for your next interview, which you will get. Next is send a thank you message. Regardless of the outcome, always still send a thank you message for their time. And then if you're no longer interested, respectfully withdraw. So let them know you're no longer interested, and so that they could open up that position for someone else. And then at the end, let it go. Because at the end, hiring decisions is outside our control. Beating yourself up for how it went doesn't help anyone. Remember again that every rejection is a redirection. Even if this was your goal, even if this studio was the dream, and maybe it's just not the path right now. This isn't the end of the path either. You may not see it, you may not know it right now, but maybe in having more experiences, eventually it would lead you back to here, to this studio, if this studio really is your goal and your dream. Frequently asked questions. We'll keep this to the before and after interviews, because they will have a different frequently asked questions on the next chapter of what to do during the interview. So there are some FAQs there for during the interview. So for right now, we'll stick to B&As. Okay, frequently asked questions. What should I wear? Non-graphic casual to business casual. You don't need a suit and tie. Even for virtual interviews, do be presentable. Don't show up in PJs. Or if you're wearing PJs, just make sure that they can't see it. What's the tone and how should I speak? Casual but professional. So our industry, film, TV, is very fun. We're not too corporate, so we're not very formal. So you don't have to speak too formal either. But again, the key thing here is professional. I'm new. How would I know about the job's responsibilities? Read the job description. The answer is right there. So really know that before you go to the interview. What if I forgot to say something important? So if you have something that you wanted to have said during the interview but didn't get to, you can tag it in your thank you email. And for funsies, if you look at the course material, there's a little sample of what an offer looks like. Okay, I wanted to share a prod tip as well. I do have an Instagram where I share daily tips for production. So we're going back to prod tip number 80. Be nice to yourself. Even when you make mistakes, even when you should have known, even when you're in a rut, you'll be better next time. But you've got to pick yourself up first. We are our own worst critics sometimes, and it's harder to let things go when you know exactly what you should have done or what you could have done better. But remember that your biggest supporter will always be yourself. It's okay to feel let down and disappointed, but don't stop there. A single event does not define you. So try again. Alrighty, as always, at the bottom of the course, some prod tips. You can read that on your own time. Some additional resources to note. Vanessa Van Edwards is one of my favorite people to learn from, and she has a video called Master Your Digital Communication. So she's got some really cool tips there on what to do when you are having a meeting virtually. So for an end of day recap to go over the takeaways of today, it is number 1, How you present yourself before, during, and after an interview matters, and it takes proper planning. Number 2, interviews are a way to prove in person what you say you are on your resume and cover letter. Number 3, read the job description so you can echo the skills that interviewers are looking for. Number 4, regardless of how an interview goes, there are lessons to be learned from it. Number 5, always thank everyone who helped the interview happen. So is it your referral, your contact, the organizer, everyone along the way who made this happen? Thank them. So for today, I'm going to end it with some trail challenge. So your trail challenge is to practice answering the questions that I've got listed on chapter 2 there. Make sure to do it out loud. Use the common interview question worksheets in your gear pack to help. Your action items then for the end of the day is 1, fill out the worksheet of interview questions for prod. And number 2, create your own interview day of checklist. So that little card that has your go-to things. Make that so that you're prepared for your interview. Alrighty, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if this was helpful to you, please give it a like, subscribe so you see the next videos, you're notified for the next videos, and please do share this with another person you know who this video can help. So You Want to Be Prod's mission is to spread awareness out there and spread support for production everywhere. And one thing that really helps and goes a long way is sharing resources like this, because word of mouth goes a long way. And I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you on our last day, day 7. Thank you, take care, and see you there. Bye!